Vietnam citizens. We support schools and orphanages in Vietnam and Afghanistan. We have bought body armor for our soldiers in Iraq because the U.S. government could not provide them with the proper equipment. We work deeply in Central America, working for democracy and free elections. With all this work, many of our members have set aside that work for what we deem to be more important in defending the very democracy of this country by working for impeachment. There can be no question whether criminal offenses have been committed by members of this administration. The only question now is what, if anything, each member of Congress will do about it. This is not about impeaching a few administrations and officials. This is about maintaining the structure of our government. All future presidents of both parties will start their presidency where this one leaves off. For Congress to continue to allow the usurpation of power and the flaunting and violations of the Constitution to go unanswered is in itself a violation of the law. While there is no need to enumerate the long list of impeachable offenses committed by officials of this administration, I cannot escape the visceral pain and indignation that we who served our country in combat feel when we find our own government condoning and or committing war crimes and or crimes against humanity. It's appalling as a veteran to hear a discussion that justifies any form of torture. In the Army, we were taught not to torture, not only because it was illegal, but because, and especially because, it ruins the integrity of the intelligence you gather. Simply put, any victim of torture will eventually say whatever their torturer wants them to say. For us veterans, when our time came, we volunteered our very lives for this republic. Now, Congressman, it is your time. Yet I hear there is not enough time. Yet I hear, oh, it will hurt one party or another party. Or I hear there is not enough political will. Gentlemen, when our founding fathers signed the Declaration of Independence, they were not worried about political will or about how much time there was or what parties might affect their political future. They were just worried that they were going to get hanged by the neck. Yet they did the right thing. Now, gentlemen, it is your time to stand up. And let me close with Einstein's statement, the world is a dangerous place, not because of those who do evil, but because of those who look on and do nothing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. In preparing my testimony, I had indulged the rash assumption that I was living under a Republican form of government where titles of nobility were forbidden, and the idea of addressing the President as His Excellency or His Highness had been repudiated more than 2 centuries ago by our first President, George Washington. Much to my surprise, on the eve of this hearing, I discovered that in certain official quarters, there was an insistence on prohibiting pejorative references to President George W. Bush or Vice President Richard Cheney. For example, insinuating they had committed high crimes or misdemeanors. So I puzzled over the dilemma, and then the answer came like an epiphany from Dragnet's Sergeant Friday. I changed the names to protect the guilty. Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, if President George W. Bush had knocked to enter the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia in 1787, the presiding officer, President George Washington, would have denied him admission, and thereby hangs an alarming tale. The executive branch has vandalized the Constitution every bit as much as the barbarians sacked Rome in 410 AD. The executive branch has destroyed the Constitution's time-honored checks and balances, taken the nation perilously close to executive despotism. The executive branch rejects the basic philosophical tenets of the United States of America. It does not accept that America was conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that sovereignty in a Republican form of government lies with the people, not with the executive. That there are no vassals or serfs in the Constitution's landscape. That every man and woman is a king or queen, but no one wears a crown. And that the rule of law is the nation's civic religion. And the Founding Fathers